Welcome to the third video about General Data Protection Regulation. By the end of this video, you will know what to do in practice when processing data. When you process data, you need to protect the rights of people giving you their data. You need to follow these principles. With regards to communication, you need to use plain language. Tell them who you are when you request the data. Say why you are processing their data and how long it will be stored and who receives it. You need to get consent. Consent is one of the legal grounds for processing data, together with contract, legitimate interest, legal obligations, etc. If you rely on it, consent should be given by a clear affirmative action. You need also to follow the principle of access and portability. Let people access their data and let them give it to another company. You need to give warnings in case of data breaches. Let people know if there is a serious risk to them. You need to give people also the right to be forgotten. So erase their personal data if they ask, but only if it doesn't compromise freedom of expression or the ability to research. In order to protect the rights of people giving you their data, you need to follow 5 more principles. With regards to marketing, you need to give people the right to opt out of direct marketing that uses their data. You need to safeguard sensitive data. Use extra safeguards for information on health, race, sexual orientation, religion, and political beliefs. Children's data are very important. Is collecting data from children under 16 allowed? Under the GDPR, you must get parental consent. However, each EU member state can lower this threshold to between 13 and 16 years of age, so check the age limit. Data transfer outside the EU. Check availability of transfer tools like model contract clauses when there is no adequacy decision for the country of destination. Profiling. If you use profiling to process applications for legal binding agreements like loans, you must inform your customers. Make sure you have a person, not a machine, checking the process if the application ends in a refusal. Offer the applicant the right to contest the decision and ensure an appropriate legal basis to carry out such profiling. When you process data, you also need to check if you need a data protection officer, also called DPO. As mentioned before, that is not always mandatory. It depends on the type and amount of data you collect, whether processing is your main business, and if you do it on a large scale. Here we have some examples. If you process personal data to target advertising through search engines based on people's behavior online, you need one. If you send your clients an advert once a year to promote your local food business, you don't need one. If you are a GP and collect data on your patient's health, you don't need one. If you process personal data on genetics and health for a hospital, you need one. When you process data, you also need to keep records. You should keep records of data processing containing the following: name and contact details of business, reasons for data processing, description of categories of data subjects and personal data, categories of organizations receiving the data, transfer of data to another country or organization, time limit for removal of data if possible, description of security measures used when processing if possible. When you process data, you also need to anticipate with impact assessments. A data protection impact assessment, also called DPIA, will help you to identify privacy risks and steps to minimize those risks and evaluate whether your activities are justified under the data protection law. DPIA will be mandatory if the processing of personal data is likely to result in a high risk to individuals' rights and freedoms, such as privacy. Impact assessments may be required for high-risk processing, such as new technologies such as AI, automatic systematic processing and evaluation of personal information, large-scale monitoring of publicly accessible area, for example, CCTV, large-scale processing of sensitive data like biometrics. Remember, here is a cost of non-compliance. Your local data protection authority monitors compliance. The work is coordinated at EU level. The cost of falling foul of the rules can be high. First, you will get a warning, then a reprimand, then the suspension of data processing, and then a fine. So remember, you need to be compliant. Thank you for your attention.